Hello, beautiful souls. This is Diane Lang from Wisdom of the Akashics, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd always like to start out and say thank you to each and every one of you for your visits, your likes, your comments, your feedback, and also for the incredible work that we're doing together in the readings and sessions and the energy sessions that I'm doing with those of you that are clients. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that, and I love getting your letters and your comments, and thank you for those that have been giving testimonials and keeping me up to date with your story. I really appreciate them because they help they help me understand where things may be shifting for you, and I love to hear all of that, and also that I'm able to share those with other people. And because this can be a tough journey. This twin flame journey is, like I said, there's parts of me that go, I can't believe I signed up for this. And, yet I believe in that we do that. I believe that we make our agreements before we come to Earth. I'm an advanced Akashic record consultant. I'm able to look into past lives and see where these agreements were made, whether they're righteous or unrighteous, whether what other agreements that we're holding on to that maybe are keeping us tied in other relationships, so that we can ask, we can go into the records and say, what connection or what am I holding on to that's keeping me from coming into union? Or what am I holding on to that's keeping me from an abundant, fulfilling, happy, healthy life? Because all of that stuff, there's so much that's really not all from this lifetime, and some of it's just not even ours. It's familiar patterns that have been in our family for generations and years and years. And there's certain things that are going on in the earth that have become such a strong pattern, in terms of the masculine and the feminine and the power and separation, that some of it's just literally, it's not true. And so we have to find out if we're buying into it. Because if we've bought into it that we're true, then our beliefs are going to be operating accordingly from that. And once we have a belief that's operating like that, then everything will just show up to prove us right at all times. That's what the law of attraction is. And that's another area that I work really strongly in, because it's really, if we aren't able to look at that and we're not willing to look at that, I find in my own life, until I was able to embrace that and just start going, hey, if I'm the creator of my own story, what the hell am I creating this shit for? That's when I started to really make the biggest shifts. And I had been studying the soul for years, and I have a lot of information, and I was studying soul healing, and I was studying Reiki, but until I studied that I'm actually the biggest factor in my own story and my belief systems and what I was brought up thinking, and how I trust or distrust man, or how I believe, I saw money being manipulated a lot when I was young. It was used as a tool. Money was used as a tool in the circle that I grew up in. And so I formed a belief at a young age, well, as long as I never have any money, I'll never be like these people. Well, that's really doesn't work long term in life. And it's a way to just keep you stuck, because I'm not those people at a soul level, and I don't operate according to that. I don't use my money for manipulation and writing, having bad behavior and then writing a check to try to make up for it, so to speak, is a common thing that I saw, and people that were hypocritical. So, they behaved one way during the week, and all thought since they went to church on Sunday that then they were absolved of all of the bad behavior. And a lot of their bad behavior was around using money to control people with, using money as a dangle in your family, being taught that you have to work really hard for your money and that you can't follow your passions. Go be a nurse, a teacher. That's what I was told. Just be quiet, Diane, and go be a nurse or a teacher. And so I had to really break through a lot of old beliefs to get where I am today and to be able to help people the way that I do today. And so what do I want to talk to you guys about, and this is really big, it comes up in the cards all the time. It's coming up in the twin flame journey a lot, is what illusion are you living under? What is the veil of illusion that we're living under? and that's causing and keeping us in separation. And separation, first of all, is taking place on the earth in so many ways. There's a value in keeping people separated. So keeping races separated, countries separated, banking systems separated, healthcare systems separated, and really, and there's so much abundance on the earth that nobody should be in lack of any kind. We shouldn't be struggling or fighting to make a living. You can follow your gifts and live abundantly. You can be fulfilled by working in your gifts. Not all of us do everything for the mighty divine dollar, but you can't do nothing. You can't go and do everything for nothing when you have rent to pay and bills to pay and groceries to buy and kids to feed and sports to put them in and courses that you want to take and travel that you want to do. We are a third dimensional world that has a physical attachment to money being prevalent. But if it's ruling your life either by you're a greedy son of a bitch or you're always poor, it means that you don't have that part of your story working for you. Either way, there's a beautiful book. I've recommended this book for years. It's called The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. Probably one of the best books I've ever read, certainly around the combination of money and the soul. And I highly, highly recommend that if you want to go read something, understand that we actually determine the power it has over us. And, one of the things that I got from that book, everybody thinks that because when people have money, that all their problems are going to be solved. I mean, it's like, seriously, look around. That is not the case at all. Somebody with a lot of money can be one of the loneliest souls on earth because they don't trust people. They think somebody always wants to take it from them. They stay in lack. They keep it all to themselves. They're afraid to give any of it away because they won't be able to recreate it again. There's nothing healthy about that story. And then there's somebody who would give you the shirt off their back and they really don't even have another one to replace it with because they're inherently kind and they don't look at it from that standpoint. They look at it as I'm helping someone that has a human need that feels higher than my need today. So I just want to plant those seeds in your head, because when we work together and the clients that I work with, we look at the whole picture. We look at what is it that's stopping you from having the abundant, fulfilling, happy, joyful life where you're embracing all aspects of it, that you're healthy, that you're able to live in financial abundance and stability, that you have healthy relationships, that you're doing your passion, you're working your passion. And if you have a job during the day, but you have a passion, but you're not doing it because you don't think you have any time, I can tell you that there's a ways that you have to start bringing it into your story, because if the job is not fulfilling for you, it's kind of, you go to work and you get paid money, but you come home every day with an empty tank of gas because it's taking everything out of you. It's taking the soul out of you, so to speak. And some people I get a lot of times lately where people say, Diane, you just look like you're shining these days and this and that. And I was like, it's because I finally aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's where I'm finding I can really help people too, is by, once you've stepped into this yourself, then you are able to help people at a higher level. So if you are looking for any of assistance in that, and if you are looking for any assistance in your twin flame journey and you want to understand how to energetically get control of this journey and be part of it, and you need some clearing work done for you, I highly recommend reaching out and doing some clearing work with an energy clearing work with me, and then a reading, the soul session, is kind of what I'm calling them, because that helps us bring everything under one roof and see what is it that's going on, so that we can start to move these blocks and these restrictions out of the way that are causing this separation. And the biggest information is really in the Akashic records. So if you're interested in those, please let me know. You can reach me at wisdomoftheakashics@gmail.com. So what I want to talk to you guys about is that veil of illusion that we are all separate. That everybody on earth has to be out for themselves. That's something that people want us to buy into, because there's profit in us being separate. There's profit in us being feeling like that we aren't safe, that it's not safe to trust other people, or it's not safe to be around a certain group of people, or a certain from this country can't get along with that country, and all of that. So if there's countries all over the world that are living in multicultural societies where everybody from all over the earth is living somewhere within their society, There's people from all over the earth. It's very common in Canada. For example, we have people from all over the earth that live in Canada. Some are born here, some come here, and that we live in a very harmonic society here. We have issues. We certainly have to work on things here, but inherently we all basically, for the most part, accept each other and get along. And when I find that that's starting to fall apart, it's because we're buying into the separation that's being sold to us. We can't trust this particular race. Oh, if we bring them over here, then we're not going to be, we're not going to have our sovereignty anymore and things like that. So those are the things that I'm really asking you. Are you living under the veil of separation? Are you lifting the veil, lifting the masks, allowing yourself to operate from your heart and let your heart lead the way for you? Because if your heart is not actually what's leading the way for you, the chances of you coming into alignment with your twin, it's really just like you're tipping the scales really, really badly. Because if we aren't in a loving place, if we're not open and we're not loving, the twin journey is all about finding that match, coming into alignment with that match, that mirror version of you, that soul person that you birthed into the universe with, that you have the most highest unconditional love for. So if you don't have unconditional love for your twin, then that's where you really want to reach out and say, what's going on? Because I'm not having any connection with my twin. I'm always angry at them. I'm this, I'm that. Because we want to look back. What is going on inside of me that is causing this separation? Because if we think the separation is about them, we give our power away completely. If we think that our money situation is because of the way the government handles their money, we're giving away our power. If we think we're sick because the healthcare system is out of order, because it is in most countries, then we're giving away our power. And so if you want to understand this journey, it's where am I giving myself away? What illusion am I living under? And the other thing is, a lot of us are wearing masks because we're so afraid to break into that true feeling of that, allowing that in deep, it's like a deep love that almost cannot be explained, the twin love. It's beyond the ego love. It's beyond what we have known to be on earth up till now. And we're here to expand that, bring it to earth, and be part of what's healing the heart of Mother Earth and the heart of humanity. And so if we're stuck in things that are anger and frustration and impatience and poverty and lack and disease and ill health, what it means is that we actually have all of these indicators. Those are our mirrors to say, here's where I got to go work, but not put the blame on an outside system, person, place, or thing as to why it's not working for me. Because until we turn around and we take that power back and we live from our heart and we embrace that we are the powerful creator in our story, everything just happens around us. We feel like we have no control over it. We're just a victim to it. And I'm telling you that it's very hard to come up out of stuff when we're not even willing to acknowledge that it's there, and we cannot heal in denial. I remember saying this to somebody probably 30 years ago that was really stuck in some behavior and some addiction. And I was like, okay, well, that's okay, but you just can't heal in denial. They got upset with me. What do you mean by that? And I remember the first time it ever came out of my mouth. And it was like, well, you can't heal. You can't work on something that's actually not going wrong, right? There's nothing wrong. So the moral of the story was you have no power over it until you embrace it. So it's like we have a human side and that has a shadow side, and we have a soul side that's pure love and light and joy and happiness. We have both of them going on at all times. Which one's ruling your story? As we move into the fifth dimension, as we move into that, people often refer to as we're ascending into a higher being, as we're moving into that, we have to be more in alignment. We have to be operating from our heart and our spiritual self and our soul more than we believe and operate in the human story. The human story is really just about where can I be, what's being shown to me that I can be then look at it as a gift. Even the difficult, horrible things that are going on in the world are ways for us to be compassionate to other people. I remember one time there was something that happened. There was a big earthquake or something. It was really devastating. And I was talking to one of my brothers, and he was just like, I don't understand why this happens. And I was really stuck in a lot of this kind of anger feelings about it. And I said, I understand because when you care about other people, it's hard to watch that. But I said, have you ever noticed what the effect of that is? And he said, I don't know what you mean, Diane. And I said, well, every time something majorly impacts something in the world, that impacts a society or an entire country that has a tsunami, or the things that have happened and the wars that are going on, I said, we actually, as kind and loving human beings, we go straight into compassion for them. And we didn't give a shit about those people yesterday. We only gave a shit about them today because something happened to them that was painful. And because we are inherently kind and loving, we now care. We were brought to an awareness. We were given. They have a need. They need food. They need assistance. They need supplies. And everybody in the world, all over in the world, I don't mean every single individual, but on a whole, people step up. People step up and they send this. They send loving prayers. Somebody's really hurt in something, and, people get compassionate. And so pain actually brings us compassion. So instead of being angry about the pain and angry about the act that somebody may committed, go into compassion. And if you become compassionate about yourself and towards yourself, your twin being your shared soul, everything that you work on and heal and align with in your own story is going to have an effect on their story. They're living an individual life because we incarnated as separate beings. Some of us are really maybe just going to be that role to our twin. As we align and we come into alignment and love and unconditional love and compassion and joy, then they have an opportunity to grab onto some of that, because we are literally a shared soul in two individuated bodies. And that's one of the things that I've been looking at lately and thinking a lot about is, if you actually buy into the twin journey, one of the things that a lot of people will say to me is, I'm really struggling thinking I really having a twin, or that person is my twin. The biggest story is, if you first of all have to really believe that there is such a thing. Because if you want a twin because you like the fairy tale side of the story, that they're going to be all of this to us and they're going to be the most loving thing, it's going to be the greatest relationship and all of that, that's very fairy tale. So, but if you understand that, if you really believe in the twin journey, if you believe that you were birthed into the universe, or that somebody can be birthed into the universe as a twin soul, and that you then separate it into individuated expressions that then incarnate differently, have different lives, have different past lives, have different families, have different challenges, have faced different dysfunctions, have, maybe you have a lifetime where you've dealt with, you work through greed, and you have then a lifetime where you work through addiction and all of this stuff, because that's the dichotomy of the human behavior, is to come and always bring ourselves up and out into a higher essence of light in our soul and in our heart. But if you believe that you actually have a twin on the earth, and you have to start to accept responsibility for the impact of what we do as an individual is going to have on their soul, because their soul is our soul. So one of the biggest things is, people want to buy into the twin story and they want the fairy tale, but they really don't. And when you get right down to the core of it, they don't actually really know if they believe there is such a thing as a twin flame. Well, if you haven't got that part of the story, if you haven't come to a place of understanding, acceptance, or peace, or something in your own heart about that, you're not going to be buying into that they're ever going to come along and be that wonderful partner to us anyways. And that's where I feel that it's beneficial to work with somebody, because you can get to a certain amount of stuff on your own. I'm always saying, and I'm just going through some difficult times with somebody in my life that's having some real difficult time. And because I'm so close to them, I have some attachment to it. So, I'm talking about them actually coming outside. But I shared with them the other day, I said, I'm a lot older. And I said, you've watched me go through health issues. You've watched me survive breast cancer twice. You've watched, have lost the loss of my brother, my parents, all of this stuff. And every time I've ever had a really difficult time in my life, I reached out for help. I reached out to let somebody else help me through my journey. And I think that part of my gift now in giving back and coming into a role as a coach and a mentor is that I actually have had a lifetime of experience of pain, and then coming through it in some form of where I come to some place where I understand that everything brings us a gift. Everything has a gift attached to us. I just had a giant wave that went right from my stomach up through my heart and through my head, which is like spirit saying to me that this is an important part. This message right now is that it's when you start to look at things like, okay, this is really shitty that it's happening to me, but what can I do to find, where do I need to be to find the gift in it? Where do I need to be to see that person as a healing angel versus an enemy? Because we're always being asked, are we going to karmically continuation the bullshit? Or are we going to karmically correct it? Karmic continuation is they were rude, so I'm going to be rude. Karmic correction is they were rude, so I'm going to be kind. They cheated on me, so they're going to bring me to a higher level of loyalty in my next relationship. That loyalty is really important to me. They lied to me, so I'm going to work on my honesty. It's just a reminder. It's a reminder. What somebody else's behavior is, that we look at their behavior, whatever we're judging about it is actually where we can see and start is, if I'm being judgmental about that person's behavior, and grief is one of them. People that go through loss, and everybody has a different makeup. I'm telling you, we are literally, truly are our own snowflake. We are our own blueprint. In the Akashic records, we get to really dive in and see what that blueprint is. But because we are a unique, individuated soul, how I grieve is going to be differently than you grieve. How old I was the first time I lost somebody is going to be a difference to me as to how you may grieve if you never lost somebody till you're 40 versus a child who lost a parent when they were 3, or a parent who lost a child when they were 3. Is it a sibling? Is it a friend? We think that people should act a certain way when they're sad. Well, who are we to say what their blueprint for sadness is? If somebody is inherently quiet and internal because they literally are, that is their blueprint, and we think that they're not showing their emotions, it's actually natural for them. That's a lot of stuff that you can really get when you start to realize who you are, is that you can start to really see that, this is actually just my natural uniqueness that I'm like this. And then you start caring less what other people think, and you start being less judgmental towards other people. This is all important about the twin journey, because if things are not going our way, it's just really about what is it that I can be doing on a continual basis to be in energetic alignment with my highest truth, the highest person I meant to come here and be on earth, what my gifts are, what gifts I can bring to my relationships, what gifts can I bring to my other relationships while this twin one is working itself out. Sometimes people have spiritual agreements that they have to complete before they can come to us, and we would have actually known about these spiritual agreements before we all came to earth. And so one of the things that's really important in this journey is, first of all, not getting too attached to the outcome, because we all want to be with our twins. It's like that's actually natural particularly when you actually embrace the fact that if I am a twin, if there is such a thing as twins, of course I want to be with them. So when you recognize that, you can let all the other shit go. You don't have to worry about, why do I want to be with them all of the time? Well, you want to be with them because they're the other part of you. It's just completely natural for us to feel that way. And so when we get that and go, oh, well, that makes sense. Well, then now I can go work on this part of the story. Okay, God, what's next? And then next thing you know, an abandonment issue will come up. Well, why do I always feel like, I'm being abandoned, or my twin is abandoning me? Where else do I feel abandoned? Who have I abandoned? These are questions, and sometimes we have to get help to get to the questions and ask the questions properly. But I'm telling you, if you understand And you really start to say, am I even embracing the twin journey in the sense that I'm fully buying in? Because if you're only partially buying in, you're only going to get a partial experience. You're only going to get a partial result. This is actually logic, you know? I'm just hearing something, so I just want to take it in. Spirit says that when you embrace all of who you are, the love side and the shadow side, and you love them both, that is what creates balance. We cannot be on the earth without a shadow side. It's part of what we chose to be willing to accept when we came in for the twin journey. When we choose to incarnate, not even the twin journey, the human journey. When we chose to incarnate into physical form, we understand that at the third dimensional level, there's going to be good and bad and right, and and there's going to be darkness and there's going to be light. And so we're here to heal the dark parts of ourselves. We're here to bring them to the surface, acknowledge them, because you can heal in acknowledgement and awareness. You just can't heal in denial. And I always thought that, why do people question that? I know somebody that's quite a severe alcoholic. But I'm telling you, and they've been like this for so long, and everybody knows they're that, and they see the train wreck they're in when they're drinking. But they themselves adamantly will not say, I'm an alcoholic. It's like your life is a train wreck because of how you drink, what happens to you when you drink, but you're not an alcoholic. Well, I know that there's a whole bunch of alcoholics in this family, but every single other one of them is actually an admitting alcoholic. Many of them have come out of it. Some of them have 10, 20 years of not drinking because they were able to face the demon. They were able to say, I fell victim to this, or not victim, I fell into this addiction. But I recognized it. I recognized it was ruining my life. I recognized it was ruining my relationships. And I recognized when I could stop drinking or slow down drinking that my life got better. But there's one person that just adamantly, 30 years later, is still absolutely not an alcoholic, but everything that ever goes wrong in their life is based on alcohol. It's either the fights that they get in, their relationships are a mess, they're getting, there's things with the law, there's always money problems, and it's like, well, okay, it's got nothing to do with your drinking. Well, no, it doesn't have anything to do with my drinking. You know what? Unconditional love, and then detach from it. Completely detach from the need for that person to actually get that or be aware of it. But I just stand in the sentence that you cannot heal in denial. So until there's no denial, and one of the things that twins want to do is they want to deny a lot. They want to deny that they feel this way. They want to deny that they're angry. They want to deny that they even have a twin. They want to deny that the problem is with the other twin. So ask, what am I in denial from? What mask am I wearing? What veil am I wearing? And as soon as you do that, and if you go directly to say, Spirit, please show me what mask I'm wearing, and then pay attention. Please show me in the next little while what mask I'm wearing. Even over the next couple days, all of a sudden something will show up. It might be pissing you off royally, but if you remember that you asked the question, or maybe you wrote it down, or you've put it in a journal, or you've put a note on your fridge, Spirit, please help me understand what mask I'm wearing. What illusion am I living under? And then it'll show up, and then you go, oh, they're just here to show me my illusion. Oh, they're just here to help me see the mask. And then you can love somebody for that. And it takes away the angst and the anger and they're the problem. Anytime we make somebody else the problem, we're just not owning our own power. And when you really want your life to change, and you really want to embrace these relationships and come into a loving union and a healthy union and a abundant union, and go through all of the things that are going to take place when you do come into union. I mean, the one thing I'm really clear about is, when I met my twin, I just was pole vaulted into this self-love thing. I was just like all of the baggage that I'd been carrying and all the fears I had around relationships and men and an abandonment and getting them angry and all of those things that much of it from my childhood, and then the relationships I chose to have. I was like, man, I want to get all of this stuff out of the way. I don't want him to have to come forward and deal with this. This is my stuff. He brought me such a beautiful sense of kindness and love, and he looked at me the way I wanted a man to look at me. He showed me the compassion in a man that I want in a partner. He showed me the loyalty in a man that I want in a partner. So I got to see all of these aspects were there, and that relationship, for me to have that type of relationship with a man, was possible. I didn't know anything about twins. I didn't know anything about twins until I think it was last year in 2015. I met him in 2011 and then 2012, and then we started to communicate in 2013. So I was way into my journey before anybody brought any of this stuff forward for me. And then I was living under the veil. I did not want this. I did not want this. And there's a big part of me who's like, I couldn't have agreed to sign up for this, but I also understand the soul does agree to sign up for this. And then once you embrace that, this is actually what I agreed to. And if there is a spiritual agreement that they're completing, I would have agreed for the completion of that agreement. You know, some people are staying stuck. An agreement was maybe we're meant to have our kids together, and then, you know, we'll stay, you know, we'll have our kids together, we'll incarnate, we'll bring our kids in because there's going to be some story that gets healed through that, or something that gets worked throughout. But my highest partner is Diane's going to be on the earth already, and my highest partnership is with Diane, and then I'm going to go into union with Diane. And then you get stuck in the earthly stuff. Well, you're a shitty father if you leave, or you're a bad mother if you walk away, or you're, you know, all of those things like I told you about in the initial things. I mean, the shame that my mother went through by leaving a situation that was the best thing that ever happened to our family. And because of the dysfunction that was in it, you know, I used to say that, you know, the vow of marriage, church marriage, was till death do us part. Well, if people are in abusive situations, death is what will do them part. So somebody's supposed to stick around for that because the church says so? No, I don't fucking think so. Excuse my body language there. You know, I feel gifted that I figured this out very young in life, because I really did. I believed I was going to fall apart as a 13-year-old. And I had already been introduced to drugs and everything at that age, which was, you know, seems quite normal now, but not so normal back then. And, you know, I look back at that, and I could have easily went off and became a street kid, or, you know, a serious user or something like that at a very young age. But I knew I didn't want that for my story. I obviously was in alignment enough with my soul not to go that direction. But I really adamantly believe that if I want to believe in something bigger than myself, the something bigger than me would not be dropping my mom like a hot potato because she walked away from a situation that was pretty much till death do us part. And death was going to do them part. You know, and I recognize that, no, this is things that humans make decisions about. This is a thing. The church has control over that, not in my world. And so I stepped outside of the church, and I only went into a spiritual journey after that. I wanted to know how can I have my God be all loving and forgiving and compassionate and kind and supportive, and him not to have a religion attached to him. And I learned my God doesn't have to have a religion. And religion in my world, it, particularly after all of these years, is just another form of separation. Because Catholics can actually think they're better than Protestants. They're not. We're all on the human journey together. I'm happy that people believe in something that helps them have a belief system and keeps them inherently kind. I'm not supportive of any part of it that separates people or thinks that there's a hierarchy. You know, I mean, how many wars going on in the world over religion? Well, that to me is the stupidest thing that can happen. That right away tells you that it's completely off path. The fact that somebody thinks they're better than somebody else is the problem. And there isn't such a thing. We're all God's children. You know, if you define yourself with a religion, I'm not telling you not to do that or suggesting you don't do it, but make sure you're coming from a place of understanding that I will only go into a church, you know, that actually is brings union to people. I went to a non-denominational church for years in Calgary called the Center for Positive Living, and it was the spiritual teaching. And it taught us about, that's where I really started to learn about the law of attraction and stuff like that, because she actually discussed that in church. I think way back in one of my videos, I talk about this all the time. It was in that church where I learned the lesson, because in one of her discussions that day, she talked about, oh, you don't get upset that you've made a mistake. You pay attention to how long you're going to let it control you, what's going to happen to you as a result of it. Are you going to still be mad about it 6 months later? That's all in your control. You can't control that the mistake was made. You can't control that you had an outburst, or that you got angry at somebody, or you got drunk and you got stupid. She taught us that in church, This was a church lesson in a spiritual church. So that's when I learned it's not about what happens. It's about what you do with what happens. And the way she explained it that today, it just cemented it in my head. I knew it from that moment on. I was going to use that as a measuring stick, a healthy measuring stick. So that way you become self-forgiving. Okay, I did it. It was stupid. Totally not my normal thing. And if it is your normal thing, you just have more work to do. If you're always angry, then there's definitely some stuff you got to work on there. But I realized it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the making the mistake or having the judgment or being the ass. It was about, do I stay in it? And if somebody's offended me and then they're off the next day and they're off having fun and going out boating with their friends, and 6 months later I'm still seething, that has nothing to do with them. That's where you get to take control of your life. Who benefits from me staying angry over the long term? Who am I withholding love from when I'm angry? Chances are when you're angry, you withhold love from everybody. There'll be the odd person that still gets the crack through the door and can come in and, support you. And especially if you like to, be in the victim role, or somebody will come over and completely pacify you. Poor you, poor you, poor you. I like to empathetically listen, but I really, and as a coach and a mentor, you can't take sides, because first of all, you understand there's more than one person's story taking place here. Our pain is based on the perception. Here's another thing that I learned on explanation that they talked about one day. It was how perception is everything. And it's like, so there's two people standing at a red light. This was the way it was explained to us. There's two people standing at a red light. One of them is, there's a horrible accident that takes place in front of them. And there's people are literally physically horribly injured. One of them goes into action, takes control, calls 911, runs to the car, gets blankets, just starts doing it, and getting into action. The other one sits down in the corner and cries and goes into trauma. And years later, they're still in trauma, where the other one, an hour later, they were shopping with their kids and then going to Chuck E. Cheese. Because their perception of what happened and what the accident that took place in front of them was the exact same. What they witnessed, the carnage, was exactly the same. But how they handled it is what determined what the outcome of it in the long term was. So I hope that helps you understand that analogy. It's a little bit, it's kind of, I remember when I heard it, but I got the point. I got the point. It's not what it's about. That happened, and two people have the exact same experience. So it's not the experience, it's the perception of the experience. It's how I respond to the experience. It's my reaction to the experience. It's my upbringing. It's my belief system. It's my fears. It's my doubts that are going to impact the expression that story is going to end up having on me, or the impact that story is going to have on me. So the questions for today are, what veils of illusion do I need to lift? And what masks am I wearing? And those are really good things that we can get to in a reading. So I highly recommend that if there are things that you're working on and you feel you could use some help on, reach out. You can go to twinflameclearings.com to do that. And that, really start to go inside and say, am I fully buying the twin? Because if we're only partly buying that there's even such a thing, it's kind of like trying to operate a four-wheel vehicle with 3 wheels. One, the back tire's not even there, and you're wondering why as you go along, and you keep tipping over, and get thrown off path. Because all cylinders, all wheels are not running together. And when I took on this question and I asked myself, okay, is this really true? When I accepted that, when I went into my soul and I asked Spirit and I got guidance about this twin experience, are we really birthed? Can we be birthed into the universe with a twin soul? It's like, I always look at it as the yin yang, there's the male energy and the female energy. And there's a perfect representation of both as how you start out, and then you separate into individual experiences and bodies and incarnations, but your goal is always to come back into union. And when you are on earth with your twin and you feel the union, it's like, stop questioning certain things about it. But if you haven't fully bought in, that's the part that you got to decide about. Because if we haven't fully bought in, the story can't unfold all of the way for us. They're going to show up and we're just going to be doubtful anyways. So I hope this helps you today. I haven't done a video in a while, and we've now done a 2-minute video. I do encourage you guys that if there's something that you feel that you could be of I could be of assistance with you, reach out. The sessions that when we do actual coaching and reading sessions together, they typically run around 90 minutes long. So book 90 minutes for that. If you do just an energetic clearing with me, I do the clearing work here, and then I give you follow-up information, provide you an invocation as to how to, it's an invocation to call in your twin and stay in alignment in the heart with your twin. You can access all of those on the website. And, I bless your journey, and that it will continue to unfold, but let your heart unfold. And then the rest of the journey will unfold. And when we release the attachment to the outcome, we release the attachment to them having to do something, we just get really we just turn that mirror around and we look right in that mirror. And I am telling you that there's a beautiful, beautiful, kind, loving soul looking back at you. That is you. And that is the reflection from your twin also. They're mirroring both the beauty and the shadow parts of us. And when we see their struggle, that is what we can go work on. If you see your twin in pain about something, or they're locked into some sort of pain or separation or, dysfunctional relationship or, control or anything like that, then go picture yourself in that yin yang. And then go into the energetic story and heal that, work on that. See that story resolving itself. And then that work, your twin will automatically pick up all of the work that's being done by you. And that's why I think the healing sessions are becoming so powerful to people. And I'm getting the writings and why twins are, we did the session and my twin did this and we reached out and we connected and we did this. And I started completely taking ownership of my own stuff, and this is showing up, and my relationship with over here is healing. I didn't even expect that. It's because we're actually in this together with them. So whatever their pain is, pray for their pain. Help them through it. Love them unconditionally through it. It's really just loving unconditionally yourself. And when you love unconditionally to them, it opens up their heart to do the same. So don't get caught up in he and she, or them and us. That's just another form of separation, which is the illusion. You cannot be separate from your twin. You only have a physical, the incarnation, the body is separate, but the soul is actually not. So when you accept that and you embrace it and you take it in and you're willing to really go and do the work, you'll bring magical things into your life in other ways, way over and above just the twin relationship. The twin is just the most unconditional, loving relationship that you can find and enter in, because it's literally love for self. God bless you, beautiful souls. Thank you for coming to Wisdom of the Akashics. TwinFlameClearings.com, wisdomoftheakashics@gmail.com if you want to reach me out to there. Namaste to each and every one of your beautiful souls. And again, thank you for all of your visits, your likes, your shares, your comments, your testimonials, and your stories. God bless. Diane Lang.